I like to put my mistakes on greater blast, if possible, than others. That period. You make a mistake. I like to, on the one hand, do the audit myself, say, had the mistake happen and how to avoid it in the future. Some mistakes, unavoidable. In fact, mistakes in general are unavoidable because nobody's perfect and everyone's going to make a mistake at some point in time. The question is identifying where it went wrong, and to the extent that anybody makes mistakes and everybody does make mistakes, just, thank goodness when the mistakes are consequence-free and only impact me. Yesterday, when we were live in vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the locals only after party, and someone put up a post and it said, "Can you believe Trump tweeted this?" And I read the post. It's a truth post, sorry. And I read the truth post and I say, I can't believe Trump would post this because it doesn't make sense on its face. This was the truth post, and there's a timestamp on this one, but the timestamp, I say, means nothing in terms of verifying veracity once something has been deleted. We look at this truth post at vivabarneslaw.locals.com afterwards, and I'm reading. I was like, how? The Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID, identification. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. Good. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Absolutely. By the way, all of that, those three, have to do with voting. No men in women's sports. Okay, that's curious. Why the hell would that be in the Save America Act, which I thought pertained to voter ID, but, there's other stuff in it. No men in women's sports, everything we all agree on. No transgender mutilation surgery for children without the express written approval of their parents. Now, I read that and I said, as we were doing it live, I haven't gone back to rewatch it exactly what my reaction was like. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's basically like saying you can't beat your child. Let me rephrase this. A child cannot be beaten without the consent of the parents. And then some people, I said that somewhere, and then people in the chat were like, that's not true. Back in the school days, they needed the consent of the parents to beat the kids. It's like, first of all, don't confound corporal punishment, regardless of how you feel about it, with beating. The idea is you can't commit a crime against a kid without the express authorization of the parent. Literally means nothing. It's literally an oxymoron. It's like nobody can murder someone else's kid without the consent of their parents. It's as laughably stupid a statement as that is to make. And so it doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm going to go check into it. And then we end the show. And then I go check into it. And I go to Truth. I have an account there. I don't often use it. It's a nice platform, but I prefer the adversarial non-echo chamber of X. I like to see what my enemies think or my ideological adversaries think. So I go look for the post, and the post that I see, that is the only post that's live at that time, is the Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID identification. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, and military. No men and women's sports. No transgender mutilation surgery for children. Period. That makes more sense. So I come out and I say, no. Sorry, everybody, I saw people reacting to the original tweet as though it were real. And I was like, holy crap. I don't see the original. And fair warning to everybody who's reacting to this, it's fake. Truth of the matter is it wasn't fake. It had been deleted. And then the question becomes, how do you correct a mistake? You delete a tweet, then people say, why'd you delete that tweet? You're trying to hide your mistake. You leave the tweet up, and then people say, why'd you leave the tweet up? People are retweeting it as though it's true. Luckily, I discovered this within the hour that allows you to edit. And I just said, because I can still edit it, delete it. Apparently, he didn't indeed tweet the version that's widely circulating, but deleted it. When I checked to confirm, I only saw the deleted post. This was the one I saw. And then this is my delete to the tweet. Live with your mistake, understand it. And the reality is, after I see it, I was like, there's no way he would have tweeted something quite that stupid. And then Drew Hernandez tweets, it's real, bro. Do you check. Then you go check. You don't find it. And then the question is, all right, well, now I'm seeing competing screenshots. I don't have an archived link. I don't have a video of someone flipping through it. Like, all right, this is what you call the post-information war, where I say, oh my goodness, someone's trying to put out a fake tweet to get other conservative commentators or analysts to react to it so they can then discredit them to say, ha ha, you idiot, you reacted to a fake tweet. Why would Trump tweet that? Then I come out and say, no, it's fake. Then they're going to say, Viva got it wrong because it was a real tweet, which is what happens when you delete it and you have no trace of deleting it. So now this is the information warfare. How did I know that this is going to be the ultimate flattery 5 times August? I'm friends with him. We've gone back years now. When I saw 5 times August say a lot of people saying this was a fake post, it wasn't, but it has since been deleted and removed from his truth account. I verified earlier and stand by its authenticity. That's all I need to ever know that that is true. And now let's take a brief pause from this video for a word from our sponsor, Rumble Wallet. You may have seen the conversations happening online lately. Censorship is back and it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want us to see. We need to fight back. Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. On one side, Rumble is challenging the big tech censorship, but now on the other side, they have introduced something that will give us all the protection from big banks shutting us off overnight, and that is Rumble Wallet. Banks can cancel our accounts and freeze our cards anytime they want without any justification whatsoever. That is why Rumble launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one has control over, that cannot be shut off. Not even Rumble itself can control your wallet. You can use it to tip creators like me or your other favorite creators. With Rumble Wallet, you have control over your money. No bank, no government, no nobody. Just don't lose your 12-seed password to access your Rumble Wallet. To show you how it works, after you've downloaded the Rumble Wallet, all you do if you want to tip a creator is go to tip. You can click on the other wallet, Bitcoin, and you scan the QR code. You can tip in Bitcoin or gold-backed crypto, XAUT, thanks to the partnership with Tether and Rumble. It's not only a wallet to help you buy and save, it will allow you to support other creators, to keep your money in a place where nobody can shut it off. You can support my show and other creators by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel and theirs. Go to wallet.rumble.com. Download the wallet today. Download the app or go to wallet.rumble.com and protect yourself. Thank you very much, Rumble, for sponsoring this video. And now back to the vlog. Now, the problem is people are saying, okay, well, he posted it. It was a staffer who did it. It was, a stupid thing to post. It was a mistake. They deleted it, and it's the intent that matters. Well, there's 2 things as to why this is very important. We are damn well now going to go scrutinize that law and see what in the name of sweet holy hell is in it that could possibly, potentially, in some sinister interpretation or misinterpretation, be used to justify what I believe is child genital mutilation if they have the consent of the parents. Like, we're now going to go scrutinize the living bejesus out of that law, because if there's a possibility that it can be used to do that, well, we now need to look for that. There were other interpretations that said, he was joking. It was supposed to be sarcastic because of its absurdity. And I very much respect Mike Cernovich. Follow him on Twitter. And that was his take. He says, look, Trump was obviously joking about the mutilation of children. I realize people are on edge. That's why they say touch grass. I was chuckling. He's shaming parents who would do this to their precious children. This is what Cerno posted. I said, it's an interesting interpretation. If it was a joke, he should have clarified in the repost or after having deleted it. And I say also, it's kind of a serious subject matter for an attempt of humor. And the major issue also is, like, it's the reality of the internet. You can't make certain jokes because your ideological adversaries will pretend that you didn't mean them as jokes. And I still remember this from when I ran for the People's Party of Canada. And Maxime Bernier, the leader of the party, made a joke. You have to be retarded to not understand that it was a joke. Maoists and communists have infiltrated the Canadian government, and Journal de Montréal pretended that tweet was not hyperbolic, comedy, but that he truly believed that Maoists and communists have infiltrated the Canadian government to try to make him look like a crazy person. Even if it was a joke, it's a bad time to joke because people are going to pretend it wasn't, and they're going to forever say he condoned it with the consent of parents. The other problem is there's an unfortunate evidence out there, and now it's from a while back, and there is a material distinction that I would make in all of this in the statement. But this is a clip from, I had to ask when it was from. I think it was 2024. Yeah, it was, not that you can trust Grok for everything, but the post was recent. but the clip is from 2024. And it's only 16 seconds, and you got to be careful. And you don't know if it's AI generated anymore, but it looks like it's legit. And by all accounts, it seems to be verifiable.
We need borders. We need fair elections. We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want transgender operations without parental consent. There's so many things, but it's 99.9% is common sense.
So now the problem becomes, it's not clear that a joke interpretation could explain the post. Now, in this particular clip, and I'll steelman it, you can call me a Trump sycophant, where he says transgender operations. We don't want transgender operations.
We need fair elections. We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want transgender operations without parental consent.
So what does he mean by transgender operations? I mean, you take it at its face, operations to mutilate children without parental consent. This might have been in the specific context of a discussion where the argument was children or 14, 15-year-olds, whatever, deciding to do it on their own without notifying their parents. And that is the important caveat to steelman that particular sound clip. But it sort of undermines the potential argument for it was just a joke. It might have been said with the same intent. We don't want 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds going to doctors and having procedures without notifying the parents. I say you don't let anyone who's not old enough to get a tattoo decide to modify or mutilate because it impedes the proper functioning of their genitals. You don't let them do it, period. And so whether or not it was a staffer, whether or not it was him making a joke, whether or not it was just a terrible enunciation of policy, the one bottom line to all of it, being a boot-licking Trump sycophant and saying there's nothing wrong with this and we've got to defend it. No, Trump reads the comments. Trump reads the room when there's a sufficient backlash. And there is value in being a good faith, constructive critic of Donald Trump to ensure that he avoids making unforced errors. But that was one hell of an unforced error. And in as much as I thought it was too absurd to be true, and when I went to verify it was no longer there, sometimes reality is crazier than fiction, and it darn well appeared to have been, and in fact was, a real truth post, subsequently deleted. Now the correct policy has been enunciated, and it is going to be up to all of us to go read through that SAVE Act and any provisions dealing with transgender mutilation to make sure that there is no caveat that you can mutilate a child if you have the consent of the parents in the name of transgender ideology. And that's that.